How's it guys, and welcome to South Africa Motorcyclists YouTube channel. Today we are going to do something a little bit out of the norm, something that's covered a lot. Correct washing procedure for a motorcycle. We've been lucky enough to get the 2021 Suzuki Katana from Suzuki SA itself, Suzuki Auto SA itself, which very big thanks to them to loaning it to us for the week. You guys will probably see Jono's review on it on the YouTube channel coming up pretty soon. But yeah, so I've had it now for the last couple of days and stuff as well, and against every single instinct within my body to wash it, I have refrained from washing it to get it a little bit on the dirty side so that we can obviously do this video for you guys. And yeah, you know guys, there's a lot of different ways that everybody says to wash their bikes and stuff like that. Me personally, the way that I'm going to show you guys coming up now is the way that I prefer to wash a bike, regardless of what bike it is. And the fact that it's a black bike as well, it makes it a little bit trickier, but also at the same time a lot easier to show you guys as well. Quick one, this is the new color scheme for the 2021 Suzuki Katana. Absolutely loving the black. Although the silver is still the classic color, the black really brings out this bike. So cool guys, enjoy, and yeah, let's get to washing this thing. Alright guys, the first part of the whole thing is a bit of a no-brainer in today's day and age. I know a lot of guys still utilize, you know, sponges and mutton cloths and old t-shirts and stuff like that. Me personally, I absolutely hate it. It does nothing but scratch the paintwork. So do yourself a favor, invest in microfiber. It's the best way to go. Good old microfiber mitten works like a dream, especially when you've got rings that don't come off. The mitt really helps a lot. And then you guys will see while I'm washing, I use 2 microfiber cloths, and I'll get into that shortly as well as to why I use 2 microfiber cloths when I'm actually doing the actual wash itself. As well as, okay, look, this is not it's microfiber, but this is a cheapy microfiber. This I'm going to put it into place already. It's a nice small little piece. I like to clog this up, and I like to just stick it into the actual exhaust itself. You don't really want water getting stuck in the exhaust inside your catalyst and stuff like that. It's not something that will cause a big problem, especially if you're going to start the motorcycle straight after washing it. But you know, I just don't like it. It leaves water inside, and obviously it increases the risk of rust internally, which you obviously don't want. Ballasts or no ballasts, just for you guys to know. And then the biggest trick of all is the 2-bucket rule. So I'll get into all of that, and I'll explain all of that as well with the 2-bucket rule. The 2-bucket rule is the only way to wash, not just bikes, cars as well, but I mean, obviously we're a bike channel, so that's what we focus on. So 2 buckets, 2 microfiber cloth, 1 microfiber mitt, and obviously your water. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill these 2 up, and then we'll get into this. First off, we're going to rinse the bike down just with a hose pipe, normal clean water. I know a lot of guys are skittish about just rinsing off everything, especially around the electronics and stuff like that, but you got to keep in mind that if your bike is in good working condition, you should not have a problem with any water getting around the electronics. Bear in mind that you ride in the rain, that stuff's going to get wet. So, you know, when the manufacturers build these bikes, they build it that it's watertight, that it can take water, obviously, for rain. So I'm going to do that now. We're going to go into just a quick rinse off. All the rinse off does is it gets all the loose particles off of the motorcycle itself, so that when you go in to wash, it's not scratching the paint. It gets rid of the majority of the dust. Small little particles, you don't think it, but they're actually scratching as you are washing if you have to go straight in with a wash. So we're going to rinse this thing down quick. Alright guys, so next up after the rinse, you'll see that I've moved the bike a little bit, obviously just to get everything into screen and stuff like that. We're going to dunk this in here into clean water. That's the microfiber mitt I was telling about. So we've got a bucket of clean water, no soap additive, no nothing. Then this bucket here has got just clean soap water in it. The soap that I'm using, unfortunately, you can't buy off of the shelf. We're in the process of hopefully making it a proprietary brand from South African Motorcyclist. It's a special formula that we've worked on with some chemists and stuff like that to wash bikes. So this is a very, very special formula, but we are looking at making it available to you guys. So your first trick is obviously to rinse your microfiber mitt in the clean water. That makes sure that there's nothing loose, there's nothing dirty on the mitt itself when you start. You're then going to take your mitt, dunk it in some soap water, get it nice and soaked, and you'll start washing. So generally speaking, I would wash from the front, and then front panel, panel, panel. I'm going to do it on the side first for a change. You know, it all comes down to your personal preference. You just want to lather that on. I'm not applying a lot of pressure. I'm pretty much just guiding the mitt over the bike. I'm not pushing into it, so there's no abrasion, there's no hard pressure on the panels and stuff like that. I'm just getting the soap in there. Let the soap do the work for you. So you'll see I've done a very small piece. I'm going to take the mitt, rinse it back in just clean water. This removes any dirt and particles and stuff like that I've washed off of that panel from the mitt. I can go back in for another batch of soap, and we can make this continue on. Your biggest trick, guys, keep the mitt clean. That's where the clean water comes in, is keeping the mitt clean, so that you're not working with a dirty mitt. You're not getting more dirt and more scratches. You're removing the risk of scratch, if that makes sense what I'm saying. We get nice and dirty in there.
Alright guys, so now that we've got it all soaped up and everything, we're going to rinse it off exactly the same way that we rinsed it off originally. And yeah, so all the soap's going to come off. The biggest trick is not to let the soap sit on too long, because that obviously leaves your streaks and stuff like that. When you see straight streaks from washing a bike, it's not streaks from water, it's streaks from the actual soap itself. So that's your biggest trick, is to try and rinse it off as quickly as possible. On a bigger bike, you'd rather wash a panel, rinse it off, wash the next panel, rinse it off, and you would keep doing that and stuff like that. Luckily, this is a nice small bike, so we can wash the whole bike. We're sure that the soap water is still wet, and we can rinse it off. So we All right, guys. So once we've now rinsed the whole bike off, my next part, obviously, in the whole thing is to dry it off. Um, Especially on a black bike, you don't want to leave the water to dry itself off. You want to get in there, you want to dry it off, because it will leave spots. And this is where my personal biggest trick comes in, is the fact of two microfiber cloths for drying. So what you'll see is that I've got two microfiber cloths, obviously. I dry it off initially with the first one, and then right behind it, I will use the next one to dry it off as well. What this does is, the first cloth takes off all the worst of the water, the majority of the water, and then the second one, it dries, polishes, if that makes sense what I'm saying, at the same time. So that's my personal biggest trick. So I'm gonna get in and do that. All right, guys. So something else that I like to do when I'm washing bikes and stuff like that, I like to just take a look, see that everything's 100% with the bike, regardless of whether it's a quick wash or a more in-depth wash. So one of the first things that I look at as well when I'm drying, I check the forks, check that the seals are all right, check that there's no oil leakage and stuff like that. It's stupid little things like that that, maintaining your bike, keeping your bike nice and clean while you're down here cleaning. To take a look quickly, no oil, everything's 100%. Check under the carriage, check that there's no oil leaks or anything like that. Check your radiators, check your covers, check if there's any damage or something like that. You can check your brake pads as well. And these are obviously, this is a new bike, so brake pads are still nice and pumped up and stuff like that. Check your tires, tread wear, make sure that everything's alright. Obviously, check your rims and all of that type of stuff. So, it comes down to the whole thing of a clean bike is a safe bike, because you obviously take notice of all the little things that you're not actually looking at all the time. And it's vitally important items: your brakes, your suspension, your tires, any body panels, if they're loose, if not, cool. Just take a brief look around the bike, make sure that everything's in place, fairings and mud guards and stuff like that is all tight, all the pipes are all looking good, all the stuff is looking good. So, it's a silly little thing to do, but doing that will maintain your bike in the long run. It'll keep you safe in the long run. So guys, that's just a basic quick wash of the bike. I'm not going to get into a too depth wash of the bike and stuff like that. Normally what I'd do with a further in-depth wash, I'd have the compressor out here, I'd be blowing everything out, make sure that there's not a single drop of water on it and stuff like that. I'd have the tire polish out and stuff like that. And I know a lot of guys actually thinking about that. I know a lot of guys are very skittish about tire polish when it comes to bikes. It's okay to polish your tires as long as you polish the outside. So you got to be very careful that you don't overspray onto your corner, onto your actual contact patch itself. The tire polish works very well, like I say, small quantity on the side of the tire itself. On the rim, cool, no problem. You just got to be careful, obviously, that it doesn't run over into your contact patch, into your chicken strips. So what I like to do is, even though I'm doing a quick wash, I do still like to give it a coat of some sort of a polish or something, just to give it that last little bit of a touch. And it actually makes the next wash a lot easier as well, because then obviously you've got that coat on. Good old-fashioned dashboard polish. If you've got a factory paint job, this is obviously all thermoplastic and special paints that they use and stuff like that. It's a very plastic-based paint that they utilize, so it's not like your normal 2K paint that you're gonna have your bike resprayed and stuff like that. For a 2K paint, you're gonna use a different type of polish and stuff like that. Although your dashboard polish should do the trick, you're gonna use a different polish. So I like to just give it a good run with a dashboard polish. Just make sure that it's obviously got a plasticizer, I think, yeah, plasticizer in it. It bonds nicely to the actual paint itself, if that makes sense what I'm saying. It doesn't actually bond onto it, it just goes into it, if that makes sense what I'm saying. It just gives it a nice smooth finish and everything like that. And like I say, guys, it makes your next wash that much easier, because it's obviously protecting for all the loose stuff and everything like that. So we're going to get into that now. And again, microfiber cloth, clean microfiber cloth, different microfiber cloth. You'll see it's a different color. This is a blue one. I've probably got about 4 or 5 different colors of microfiber cloth that I utilize. And yeah, so we're going to get into that quickly, and I'm going to show you guys. Okay, so as you guys can see, we're already nice and shiny. You can see my reflection, but yeah, the camera obviously doesn't show you that there's still a little bit of dulling. So what I'm going to do is shake the can first, just give it a light spray. Small pieces, guys. Don't do the whole thing one shot. Rather stick to a small piece, concentrate on a small piece at a time, and just give that a couple of seconds. You'll actually see it. I don't know if you can see it forming up liquid. And then just give it a good buff and a polish. Again, very very little pressure applied. Basically just running the cloth, the microfiber, letting the microfiber do its thing, and you'll see the difference. Hopefully, I can definitely see the difference on my end. But camera resolution and eye resolution is 2 different things. And there we go. You can see, I do look a little bit clearer in the reflection. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to do that obviously right around the bike.
So guys, that gives you a basic idea of washing your bike the correct way. There's obviously things that people do slightly differently and stuff like that. Like I said to you, that's just the basic idea, is the 2 bucket rule. One clean water, one clean water with soap, and you obviously rinse it out in the clean water before you go for the soap. Just keeps the mitt clean, keeps any contaminants away from the bike's paint and stuff like that, and keeps it clean. Maybe at a later stage we'll do a slightly more in-depth, getting really down and dirty with cleaning and stuff like that. But this just gives you a more or less idea of how to wash, keep your bike presentable, if that makes sense what I'm saying. I know a lot of guys have said to me over the years, yeah, but they don't have the time to wash their bikes and stuff like that. You know what, I'm sorry. Obviously a video is taking me a little bit longer to wash the bike, but in general a bike like this would probably take me 20 minutes to wash, give a quick light polish, and over away. Something bigger, I think the longest I've ever spent on a quick wash on a bike was probably a Honda, not a Honda, a Harley Ultra Classic, which is obviously the big one, and that probably took me about 45 minutes, if that. So you know what, it's a little bit of time, but it gives you also that chance to go through everything, make sure that everything's 100%, that that when you swing your leg over the saddle that you are safe. And that's one of the biggest things about washing your motorcycle, keeping your motorcycle clean. So yeah guys, I'm going to finish it off with my most favoritist part of washing a bike and stuff like that. You'll see that the cloth is still in the exhaust there, which will come out shortly, and there we go.